And hi, everybody. Welcome. You are looking live at the Centene Ice Center here in St. Louis, Missouri, or just outside of St. Louis, the Maryland Heights area, the home of the 2024 ACHA National Championships, all starting out tomorrow morning and lasting through March 17th, 11 days of hockey. And it's going to be live, courtesy of Flow Hockey TV. But we are excited here on the ACHA Power Play to be live here the night before, previewing the ACHA National Tournament. Yours truly, Captain Lou, here with you. We talked a lot about it over the years, or over the months, I should say. It all started back around Labor Day when we started our 8th season of the ACHA Power Play. And it's all culminating starting tomorrow with the opening day of the men's D1 and the men's D3 National Tournament. And it all starts again 10:15 local time, 11:15 Eastern time, and it's going to wrap up on March the 17th with the women's D1 final. We've got 5 divisions, 82 teams are going to be in action throughout the 11-day period. It's going to be staggered start times. We're going to go through all of that with you here this afternoon, or tonight rather, as we gear you for the national tournament for the ACHA starting again tomorrow morning. Again, welcome to the ACHA Power Play. We're live here on 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network. Follow us on all of our outlets, all of our platforms, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, of course, 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network, where we've got all of our live programming. We're on Twitch, we're on Instagram, Facebook. Follow me on the Captain Lou Extravaganza, and of course, follow us on 12 Ounce Sports. All great live sports. We've got D3 lacrosse live coming up this weekend and next week. We're growing, and a small part of it, of course, is us here on the Captain Lou Extravaganza and the ACHA Power Play as we are live here on 12 Ounce Sports. We're brought to you, as always, by tickets.12 Ounce Sports and, of course, mybookie.ag. And also the ACHA Power Play is brought to you by Javi Coffee. If you love instant coffee, if you're a coffee drinker like I am, check out javicoffee.com. It's quick, it's easy, it's clean. You don't have to worry about coffee grounds or whatever. They've got some great flavors. We've got the newest ones: Irish cream, cinnamon, and of course we've got regular decaf, salted caramel, French vanilla. That's my favorite. Go to javicoffee.com. Use the promo code Captain Lou for 15% off of your purchase. That is javicoffee.com. We talked about it. We've got 82 teams coming up here starting tomorrow. The start times for the men's tournament, or for the tournament itself, it all starts tomorrow, 10:15 local time with the first game. The men's D1 and the men's D3 will start tomorrow. There's 3 rinks here at the Centene Ice Center. We're right here on the main rink, the USA rink. The D1 games will be played here on this rink. The men's D3 games, the preliminary pool play games, will be played on the outer rinks here, the NHL rink and also the Plager rink. And then they will culminate on Monday with their final 4. The men's D1, as we've talked about, is single elimination. Winner go home. 24 teams this year in the national tournament. And so the top 8 teams get the opening round bye. Some of those teams won't play until Saturday, as how it's going to work is we've got 8 opening round games tomorrow, 4 here at the Centene Ice Center, 4 over at Maryville at their arena, beautiful barn over there. And the winners will advance. They'll all take on the winners of the opening day. So make sure that make sure that you check that out as well. And again, the significance of this one is, of course, it's single elimination. There is no double elimination. So, if you have a bad period, take a bad penalty, whatever, a 10-minute stretch, it's win or go home. You might be getting on the outside looking in. And of course, we know that upsets are more than likely going to happen. A couple of years ago, Minot State was the second-ranked team They lost in their opening round game to 15th-ranked Ohio, who was down a little bit that year. But Ohio, one of the powerhouses, as we thank Todd Corder for checking in with us, as it looks like it is Oswego State. They're practicing right now on the ice. They're going to be playing tomorrow night in the nightcap as well. So, again, some great action coming up here throughout the weekend. As we mentioned, though, 8 games in the opening day for the men's D1, and then we've got staggered times for those. And then the D3, they're going to start pool play as well with their tournament. So we're going to talk about the D2 and the D3 tournaments at length here coming up. We're going to have a couple of guests, a couple of broadcasters that if you've got the Flow Hockey TV subscription for these games, you're going to hear Ryan Cleves and Devin Sarah. They're going to be doing the D2 and some of the D3 games and also the women's games throughout the week. We're going to talk to them here momentarily. So, again, a lot going on with the men's D1 tournament. And, it's with all 5 tournaments, the men's D1 and the D3s we mentioned start tomorrow. The D2 on the men's side, that's going to kick off on March 11th. They're going to run Monday through Friday. Their pool play goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then on Thursday, they've got their semifinals, which will be right here. And then their finals are on Friday night. The women's D1, they start on Wednesday, and they go through till Sunday with their final game at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And then the women's D2, they've got the pool play as well. They go on they start on Tuesday. They run through Saturday with their championship game. We saw Todd Corder commenting. He's going to be in as well, bringing up he's going to be doing some of the broadcasts for the D2 games starting on Tuesday. So, all right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Devin Sarah and Reagan Cleves are going to join us, and we're going to talk a little D2 and D3 and just the whole setting in general. We're going to find out who they think might come out on top at the D3 side. By the way, before we go to break, we are going to have at least 2 brand new champions this year, as on the D2 men's, UMass got knocked out by Army in the regionals a couple of weeks back, and then the University of Michigan, the defending D3 champions, they were knocked out, or they did not qualify in the top 16. So we are going to have at least 2 brand new champions. So a lot to talk about here tonight. We're just getting started. It's the ACHA National Championships, and it's the ACHA Power Play, and it's live here on 12 Ounce Sports. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
I love doing that.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody, to the ACHA Power Play live here on 12 Ounce Sports and, of course, on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. And a reminder again that we're sponsored by tickets.12ouncesports.com. We are your ticket broker. The fees are the lowest around. If there's an NHL game you want to go to, especially with the trade deadline fast approaching, the monster trades already that have been made with Tarasenko going to Florida, the rich getting richer, Colorado making a couple of moves today as well. Check out tickets.12ouncesports.com. All right, we were talking before the break about the D2 and D3, all 5 divisions really. The D3 tournament, it starts tomorrow as well with pool play games, and we're joined now by Devin Sarah and Reagan Cleves. They're the voices of D3 hockey, and they cover the Central Michigan team. Guys, welcome. How's everything going? How was your trip?
It's great to be here. It was long, but good.
It's, I mean, not too long. I mean, short trip in Boston, you know.
Well, yeah.
To that place. What a trip. This is my first time here, personally. I know you were here 2 years ago. Beautiful facility. I mean, unreal. Staff listing. The place looks great. All the banners hung up. It's really nice. And I like that they have the recent champions front and center so they can remind some of those teams that don't have it. So it's cool. I love this place.
Oh, it is. And, you know, the cool thing is you're going to get a lot of interactions with the fans. It's up close and personal. And, you know, pucks will be flying, as you just saw right below us. So you got to keep your head on a swivel, at least here. But, guys, we talked before the break. We're going to have a new D3 champion this year with Michigan not making the tournament. You've seen over the years, Michigan, the state of Michigan has ruled the Division III. You know, we've got Hope, we've got Lawrence Tech. You guys were there for the Hope Lawrence Tech game a couple of weeks ago for their conference tournament. What are the teams that you see that are near the top in the pools right now?
Well, you want me to name the team not named Hope?
Yeah, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Anybody? I mean, take your pick, right? No, this is a well-diverse men's three pool.
Okay.
You see the different teams that are not from Michigan here. It's the, I think, smallest amount of Michigan teams we've seen here.
Yeah.
This nationals in a long time. You know, you got some of those NECA teams in there represented. Dartmouth this year, Colby College, Central Maine. Some teams you really wouldn't expect, and so I think that really presents an interesting point of view from teams that maybe have seen different teams across the country. You know, out west.
Yeah.
Air Force is back again. You know, Florida Gulf Coast, but you know, you've got your blue bloods as always, right? Your Hope Colleges, Grand Valley's here, Lawrence Tech, who snuck in at one. You know, we've talked about that a lot within our media circles, right?
Yeah.
So there's so much juice within those different teams, and it is still, I think, wide open, especially with how much movement we saw the last couple of weeks in the top 5 area.
You know, Reagan, I had Dartmouth's head coach on last week on my podcast. They were here a couple of years ago, and, you know, they got a taste of it. Now they know what it's like to be here. And the amazing thing about Dartmouth, they've got to take their finals by proxy while they're here. So they're all taking exams and playing hockey. So I don't know if that's really going to make a difference with their effort of play, but I think this is a chance for someone from the East Coast to maybe crack the code a little bit with some of these teams.
Yeah, and as Devin said, this is the fewest amount of MCHC teams by percentage we've had since going to the top 16 ranking, or the top 8 as it was in that COVID year. So this is really an open door for those teams like Dartmouth, those teams like Air Force, who in past years have run into some very good Hope teams, some very good LTU and Michigan teams that aren't necessarily in the tournament. You got Michigan not making it, as you mentioned, off the bat, but I really think even though Hope's at the lowest seed in 3 or 4 years.
Whoa. You put them lowest here.
Well, there's still a 1.
It's only one lower.
Yeah, but it's their lowest seed in 3 years.
You call it their lowest, and it's only one spot below. Right.
That's how dominant they've been over the last 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, I really think that they're honestly my favorite to win the tournament as much as you'd like to see somebody else come in. You'd like to see the dynasty be broken. You want to root for the underdog. I think Hope's got the best shot at this.
Well, I go back to McLean Schick. He's been there. It seems like this is his 5th year here. Some of the names that have been there, and now you've got a team like Michigan State that's playing well towards the end. A Lawrence Tech team, like you guys mentioned, the number 1 overall seed. An Air Force team that's been here before. They know what it's like to win these pool play games. But, Devin, you've watched these games like last year in Boston. The style of play changes once you get here. I think the defense really takes front and center.
You talked to, I think, our Sweetles coach last week about on the power play show. That's just playoff hockey.
Yeah.
Everything gets a little bit less skill-wise, less offensive-based. I think you've seen that in teams like Iowa who have clamped down Division II and blocked shots late.
Yeah.
Put yourself in position in those one-goal games. It absolutely is all about defense. And I think when you're talking about Division III especially, the tough part is some of those structured teams like the MCHC rise to the occasion because that's how they're coached. And for a tournament like this with so much hype and so many different teams, you don't know what kind of defensive structure you're going to get. So I still think that's where it's going to be won and lost. You have to limit mistakes though, because every team, you get your first game out, and some guys have jitters, some guys are a little nervous coming out of the crack. I mean, heck, up in the broadcast stand, I think our first game is always a little bit like, all right, let's settle in and get used to 30-plus games or whatever the heck we're all doing.
Oh yeah, and
it's a lot.
I guess you can lose a game in pool play.
Yeah.
But you got to have a lot of bounces. If you lose that game, it's got to be like a 2-1 game, because I think the third tiebreaker is goal differential. Fewest goals allowed, and we talk about it. Hope lost a game in their pool back in 2018 when they won the Natties, because Arkansas tied twice and they beat a Hope team. So, I don't know. Do you see a scenario happening like that where a team can go through their pool this year with a loss and still make it into Final Four?
I certainly think it's possible. You've had teams. You've had it's so wide open this year. Right. Like you've got Hope. You've got that GV and Purdue pool could be really wide open.
Oh boy,
there's a lot of parity this season, and so I do think it's possible. But again, it requires a lot of bounces to go your way. It requires a lot of luck on your part to drop that first game or drop even that second game and still make it in.
Well, I mean, he's talking about the GV and Florida pool doing there. That one, in my opinion, is the most wide open because of what happened to GV. They had their last 2 losses of the year, one against unranked Ferris State, 1-0. I don't think anybody expected that. Credit Ferris State, a senior night deal, great on them, but then you lose 6-0 to Calvin. I think you know very well about that. I mean, and then Florida lost their last 3 games of the year to Miami, Arkansas. Purdue right now has 11 straight wins, Lou, coming into this tournament.
Wow.
That's the most of any Division III team. I think St. Vincent is second right there with 10. So, I joked with him in our studio show this week. I think it's Purdue, and I think it comes down to that tiebreaker where I think GV or Florida loses one of those, and Purdue finds a way to get that tiebreaker. And it's usually by goal differential where it's first, right? First tiebreaker. So I would look out for that one because that's the most juice. And hey, all those teams got to pack a lunch because what we just talked about, defense. Take a puck to the face to save yourself from the goal differential.
So I want to talk to you guys. I want to switch over to the women's D2 bracket. You're familiar with Central Michigan. They've got a team here. I know there's 2 really, really good teams, Sioux College and Assiniboine. But what does Central or a team like that have to do to crack those 2 teams to get maybe, a chance to win it?
And I mean, we saw it last year with Northeastern beating Assiniboine in their semifinal. You got to play tough. You got to outlast teams like Assiniboine. What Northeastern did well last year is they played really good at the blue line. They didn't really allow Assiniboine a ton of chances. Now, Assiniboine did lead in those chances, but it was a lot of back and forth hockey. And Northeastern, most importantly, took advantage of the opportunities that Assiniboine gave them. Teams like Sioux, teams like Assiniboine aren't going to make a ton of mistakes. But when they do, you have to be able to capitalize, and that's exactly what Marie Polis did in the semifinal last year to send Northeastern through. So, and then
I don't know. I look at an Assiniboine team that I think I think they're really got a chip on their shoulder this year to get back. Those 2 programs in D2 are amazing. And, but, like you say, you get a bouncer, a hot goaltender, Devin, we've seen it. We saw it at the D2 for the men last year. You just never know.
You don't, but then there's that looming dark, ominous, like this, the Empire. Sioux.
Yeah.
I think everybody here knows that team is. I mean, I don't know a game that they've lost by or won by less than 2 goals. Right?
Wow, it's been a lot of wide open games.
You know, if there's any team that can challenge them, Centene obviously won that Nationals here 2 years ago, right? And whoever makes it out of, we just talked about CMU in that pool, probably is the best shot at them. But I mean, that's where in women's, right? It's all about limiting those mistakes. You know, continuing because everybody's kind of so even in that middle pack. And you had a Cinderella Northeastern. By the way, that was sweet. That was probably the coolest story
so fun.
that I can remember. They didn't even have, no discredit to Northeastern, a great program, but back again.
Yeah.
But I remember a player distinctly had like a blue shell and a different pant set.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that was the easy thing about calling their games is you could identify the players by their helmets.
Memorize it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Makes our job easier.
And, you know, one of the cool things, too, is for a lot of these kids, this is their last shot of playing organized hockey, you know, at a level like this. You know, I mean, they're not going to go to the NHL. We'll get a handful of gals and guys that'll play overseas or maybe in the, you know, the FPHL or whatever. But this really is their, for a lot of them, this is their last go-round. And what's really cool about pool play, and I've seen this, they might be knocked out of it on the third day, but they don't want to go 0-3.
Oh, yeah, no.
They want to bust their ass to get that win. And I remember watching in D2 for the women, Northern Michigan, who was back here, they had, I think, 11 skaters, and they won that third game. And so it's amazing. That's a testament to how competitive this really is.
Yeah, I think, you know, seeing this in our short times, stuff like the ACHA, you know, he's a junior academically, I'm a senior. And what we've really come to know is one, like I think you used a good word last week called like the fraternity.
Yeah.
Right? And how connected everybody is. There's so many teams represented here, obviously.
Yeah.
So many people interact and say hello to one another. Like, even today, you know, seeing the staff members in the media room, you shake hands. I haven't seen someone in a year. And I think like a labor of love, right?
Right.
Everyone puts so much work into this.
Yeah.
Of course, they're not going to play anything further than maybe the ACHA.
Yeah.
But I think that adds even more of a sentiment is that a lot of these players, you know, seniors, will do this for the last time. And I think that means something. I think it matters for teams. I mean, we just talked to St. Thomas's crew over there a couple hours ago. They say they're freshmen. Like last year, a player got injured before their final game against UMass, and the player was literally bawling their eyes out because they couldn't play with the seniors that were on the ice for the last time. Like, that's a real story. That's a real scenario. You see the passion. It's such a wonderful experience, and I think that even can add some more storylines for us.
Oh yeah. So the D1 side, how many overtime games did we have last year? You know,
that we saw. A good amount, right?
And I think you had the craziest call in that goal with 1/10 of a second left. Man, I think back to that and how much fun it gave us, you know. And then right here, 2 years ago, Central Oklahoma, I think it was, the 5 overtime game.
It was UCO and Iowa State.
Yeah, and it went 5 overtimes. I mean, it's just so close. That's what I love about the D1 single elimination. It's tough to, you know, travel all the way here and play, and, you know, your season could be over and one bounce of the puck, but my God, some close games. And I think we could see a few more of those. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. And especially like once you get out of the top 4, top 5 without the top teams in Minot and UNLV and Jamestown, this is a really tight pack in M1. You've got a lot of really good teams at the bottom, like Oswego State, who's practicing down below us right now. They won their conference tournament to even qualify for this. They're sitting in the number 24 spot. They're going to play their hearts out.
Oh boy!
Every one of these teams is going to play their hearts out. That's what makes D1 so fun, is that it is so close. These guys know it's single elimination, and they aren't going to go down easy.
You see a team like Grand Canyon coming in here with 11 straight wins now. Yeah. And of course they're going to play a higher seed. Who's that first game they have against? Whoever it is, I'd be scared because I can see a game like that.
We'll play Illinois State tomorrow night in the nightcap over in Maryville.
If you remember last year, Illinois State was a 1-4 game with Ohio until 4 minutes left. and that was 15 against 2. So you look at some teams in there, like you just talked about at 21, Oswego coming in here with their conference championship. Yeah, there's going to be overtimes. There's going to be chaos. You know, and of course the Blue Bloods will rise to the top. You know, you've got that discussion there, but that middle pack, teams like Ohio have lost to a lot of guys. Jamestown in there. It's going to be fun. And look out for Purdue Northwest specifically.
Well, and last thing I'll talk to you guys about is the D2 tournament for the men. I look at some of these pools, and you've got Concordia as a 3 seed. You and I saw Indiana. We called that game. They're a 3 seed.
By the way, your pipe still hurt from that?
Oh, man.
I caught your call in there.
Oh, it was so much fun. Yeah. New Hampshire's a 3 seed, or in the pool play. Providence. These guys could be 2 seeds and 1 seeds. You know, I watched Concordia in that Heartstopper against Minnesota up in Grand Rapids, and then you got St. Thomas. You mentioned them; they're a 2 seed. Look at you got a pool of Florida Gulf Coast, St. Thomas, and New Hampshire, and then you've got another one here. You've got Montana State, Keene State, Concordia 1, 2, and 3. I mean, it is insane how close the men's D2 is.
And we were talking to, as Devin mentioned, St. Thomas's coaches on the way down here, and it was like the thing that strikes them is that, and strikes us frankly, is that the top 4 teams, 2 of them are in pools together. Like all 4 of them are in this 2 pools.
It's insane.
So you're gonna have of those 4 teams, 2 of them aren't gonna make it to the semis.
Yeah.
And
day 1, you're going to have the team looking on the outside in, and that's going to really put a lot of ruffle in the field. You're going to see those lower seeds rise. You're going to see those upsets you want, but then it's like you got a 1 team that's potentially out on day 1.
Yeah, but the fun part is if those first 2, if those top 2 teams in each pool win their first 2 games, that sets up a juggernaut in that final day of pool play where you've got all 4 pools have the 1 and the 2 seed playing each other.
I'll tell you this. You know this as well. Division 2 is must watch. The regionals were nuts. You said that.
Yes.
I think we've all talked about how chaotic it was. Like Michigan State, right?
Yeah.
Down 3 goals, you come back out of nowhere. Concordia, Wisconsin, huge overtime.
Oh boy.
You can't miss Division 2 men's because it is by far the most interesting tournament.
But we got one more division I forgot to mention, and of course, you talk about a dynasty. In women's D1, it's Liberty. They're going for 6 straight national championships.
They're out of room on that banner. You saw it? It's
my
6
Lord.
of them filled up there.
And they've got, you've got Midland number 2. They've flip-flopped all year. You've got Adrian, who's strong at 3, the 3rd seed. And Adrian, right out of the chute, they're playing in the opening round. I know it's double a limb for the first few rounds, but talk about the advantage that Midland and Liberty have. They don't have to play till the quarterfinals. Yeah. They get to escape all that, but it is so damn close. You've got a Michigan team ranked 9th, Minot State, who went to the finals last year. I mean, they're like 6th or whatever. A Michigan Dearborn team that, it's going to be a loaded team.
I'm sad that we're not going to cover D1.
Yeah.
That's the only tournament we're not going to see. I mean, if you want to speak on this, it's a great field outside of what could be 6 straight for Liberty, which is still great for them.
I mean, it's a great
You want to see
sport.
someone new, right? You want to see somebody mix it up in there.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to see that, but at the same time, how inevitable is Liberty? But last year, if you think back to last year, I think Liberty was down against Adrian in one of their games. I think it might have been the semifinal or the quarter. And Liberty takes a couple of penalties. Adrian takes a couple of penalties, that lets Liberty back in. So even as dominant as Liberty has been, there have been cracks in that shell the last couple of years where it's like, okay, is a team going to take advantage of it? Is a team going to knock them out?
Well, I mean, you saw in that first game with McKendree and how close that was, and Arizona State's here again, but they've got a tough go out the chute. I think they're playing Indiana Tech, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like with women's starting, you've got the teams returning. Most of them are. you have to have some transformation. You have to get hot, and it's not do or die first game. I think that's the nice part about the double elimination.
Yes.
But the day off, I almost think maybe it's better if you're a team that comes out the chute day 2 winning, and then you get like a Midlands who did the only loss was the Liberty. So,
I mean, I do think that like you get in the M1 tournament where you have that rest day, that can certainly work to your advantage. It gives you the rest, it gives you some extra practice time, but at the same time, it can also backfire. If you haven't played a game in 2-3 weeks for some of these programs,
it's like they need that reps.
Yeah, you need the reps, and those teams, those lower seeds that have won the day before, they're riding off of that. Sometimes that could give them a little extra momentum.
Just ask Minot State's Wyatt Wasylenchuk, what was it here 2 years ago in men's D1. They were the 2 seed, and I think it was Ohio. They were down for them being a 15 seed, and they beat them in that opening round, and they went home. And they were an odds-on favorite along with Adrian, so you never know. Well, guys, rest your voices.
Will do.
It's going to be a lot of – I will. We're only going to be on for another half hour. And then get some rest. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, of course.
It's always fun to talk to you. And we'll see you in the morning in the first of 10 days. So, again, thank you, and enjoy the hockey.
Thanks for having us on, Luke.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back. We're going to go through the schedules. We're also going to kind of just detour a little bit to go through the trades that were made in the NHL, and then we'll get back and finish up with the ACHA. You're watching the ACHA Power Play. It's live here on 12 Ounce Sports and, of course, the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Do you need tickets? We have you covered. We have soccer from anywhere in the world. Any venue from any sports. That means we have college and professional football. We have baseball at every level. We have every Power 5 matchup. Remember, costumes and paints are optional. You want to see Broadway? We have them too. We have every concert from every artist. We have you covered at tickets.12ouncesports.com. Tickets for less.
And welcome back, everybody, to the ACHA Power Play here on 12 Ounce Sports and, of course, the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube. Thanks again, big time, to Devin, Sarah, and also to Reagan Cleaves. You're going to hear a lot of them over the next 10 days on Flow Hockey TV, as they're going to be covering a lot of the D3 men's and the D1. They're going to be doing the D1 broadcasts on day 2, and they're going to be doing a lot of the D2 later on in the week as well. So a lot going on here at the Centene Ice Center. We're live here the eve of the 2024 ACHA National Tournament. You can hear Oswego State, Travis Hyde's team, practicing in the background as they get ready for their opener tomorrow, as they're going to be taking on Niagara at 8 o'clock right here at the Centene Ice Center. And the winner of that game will take on the Ohio Bobcats. And Travis Hyde, one of the scenarios, should they win, it could be the mentor and the pupil going at it on the next day, as they're going to, the winner of that game will take on Ohio. So a lot to talk about in that game as well. Again, thanks to the guys for stepping in. What we're going to do right now, we're going to take a quick break. I want to just kind of go over the NHL trade deadline as we get a little Captain Lou extravaganza portion of the show in. The NHL trade deadline actually is Friday, but a lot of deals being made here this afternoon and yesterday. Some of the teams getting healthy. We start off, yesterday with Anthony Mantha getting traded to the Vegas Golden Knights, with them possibly not getting Mark Stone back. A good trade for them. Good depth piece for the Golden Knights. Mantha, of course, for those of us Red Wings fans, played a few years with the Wings before getting traded to the Capitals at the trade deadline. Earlier this afternoon, Alex Wenberg from the Kraken, he went to the New York Rangers as they try to bolster their run. They're right now in first place in their division. The big trade with Colorado, they get a couple of deals done earlier today. They get the Colorado Avalanche. They why am I drawing a blank? They get Sean Walker to help with on the D line for them, and also they get some more offensive help. You also get Tarasenko going to the Florida Panthers in a trade with Ottawa. Big help on the offense for them. And so the Florida Panthers right now, the top team in the NHL, and they're on an incredible run, 25-4-2, I believe, out of their last 31 games. So we're going to keep an eye on that with the trade deadline on Friday at 4 o'clock. And for us Red Wings fans, of course, based out of Michigan, we talk a lot about the Detroit Red Wings. Dylan Larkin, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks at least with a lower body injury. We've kind of speculated if the Wings are going to make a trade right now, setting in the first wild card position in the NHL in the Eastern Conference. A couple of games in hand on Tampa Bay, both tied with 72 points. The Wings losing their last couple of games to the Islanders, and of course on Saturday afternoon to the Florida Panthers. Watching that Florida team, I got to tell you, boy, it's no shame losing to them. Was that an opening round playoff preview with the Wings and the Florida Panthers? But Florida got much better. Now the Wings looking for blue line help, maybe at the trade deadline. My question is, who are they going to give up in a trade? I mean, what kind of pieces are they going to give up? Do they mortgage anybody? I wouldn't do it. If they can get a good deal for defensive help or maybe get another stick, especially with Larkin out for a couple of weeks, who knows? I know everybody wants to get Gunzel, but Detroit would have to give up a lot to get him. So I don't think he's going to end up in Detroit, but who knows? So anyways, kind of a quick look at the trade deadline. And of course, a lot more I'm sure is going to be happening in the next couple of days, as we're under 48 hours left in the trade deadline, as the Red Wings, of course, tied for the first playoff spot. Keep an eye on the Islanders. I'm still saying keep an eye on the Pittsburgh Penguins. They always seem to sneak their way in, but still a lot of hockey left, about 20 games or so left in the regular season. I think 21 for the Red Wings, if I'm not mistaken. So the playoffs are going to be here. It's going to be less than a month away, about less than 2 months away. So we'll obviously keep an eye on that on the Captain Lou extravaganza. Again, thanks to Todd Quarter for taking time out to watch us here tonight. Of course, he's right. It's a big game for the Wings out in Colorado without Larkin. Only 4 points up on the Islanders. That's these are big games. Detroit, they've got 2 big road trips coming up in the next couple of months. If they can hang on, if they can keep that spot, obviously it would be amazing if they could do that as well. So again, big matchups coming up for the Wings. They've got a big trip this big 4-game swing on the road here. If they can get 4 to 6 points out of this swing, obviously I think that would be very, very successful. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But let's get back talking to the what's here as far as the task at hand, as we're live at the USA rink of the Centene Ice Center. This is where all the D1 teams or games are going to be played. Except for tomorrow, there's going to be 2 sets of games for the D1 over in Maryville and here, as we've got the top 8 teams in D1 with a bye, and then of course They're going to be playing. So let's see if we can't take a look, if I can bring these screens up with the men's bracket. Let's take a look at the men's bracket here. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. The games tomorrow, Grand Canyon and Illinois State, the 16 and 17 seed. The winner of that gets Minot State. Niagara and Oswego, 9 and 24. We talked about that. They'll get the 8th seed Ohio. Indiana Tech and Calvin. That's going to be an interesting matchup. I've covered the Calvin team all year doing the play-by-play for them. They're a good young team. The winner of that gets number 2 Adrian. So it's going to be a local flavor there. Is Indiana State, Frank DeCristofaro's team, or Indiana Tech rather, and Mike Petrusma's team. They're going to be doing battle tomorrow over at Maryville. And then UMary's going to take on Westchester. We talk about UMary. They were a power in D2 for how many years? And now they bumped up to D1. They qualified for the national tournament. The winner of that gets Liberty. Delaware and Grand Valley do battle tomorrow. Central Oklahoma, the 3 seed. That's going to be an amazing set as well. Then you got Purdue Northwest making their first trip to the national tournament. They're going to take on Indiana U of Pennsylvania. Pitt and Arizona doing battle. And then Missouri State and Utah. They're going to start the whole festivities off tomorrow morning, 10:15 local time. So kind of a look there at the men's D1 bracket. So again, with the men's D1 schedule starting tomorrow, let's see if we can't, we'll try to see if we can bring that screen up real quick. Again, just to kind of give you an idea of the times. I'm not sure if this is the right one. We're going to take a peek and make sure if it is. No, I did the wrong one. So we're just going to go through it. So again, we'll mention it. That's the magic of live TV and live radio and whatnot. So let's just, again, give you the schedule tomorrow. Missouri State and Utah at 10:15. Pittsburgh and Arizona starts at 10:45. Those are over at Maryville. Indiana, IU of Pennsylvania, and Purdue Northwest at 1:30 right here at Centene. And then you've got Westchester and Mary at 4:45 here. And then 8 o'clock, Oswego State and Niagara. Oswego State practicing right now as we speak. And then over at Maryville, it's going to be Delaware and Grand Valley at 2 o'clock local time. And then it's going to be Indiana Tech and Calvin at 5:15. And then at 8:30, it's going to be Grand Canyon and Illinois State. That's day one for the men's bracket. Now, we want to talk a little bit about D2 with the pool play. Their pool play and their schedule. They start on Monday. We talked about it a little bit with the pools. Some huge pools starting on Monday. It's just absolutely amazing. Some of these pools. Montana State, Keene State, and Concordia and Miami of Ohio. That's a toss-up. Again, Concordia, I've seen them. They've got such a high-powered offense as a 3 seed in that pool. Led by Chuck Emmy, 53 goals on the year. Leads the country in all divisions. And then you look at Indiana, a 3 seed. Michigan State qualifying in the regionals. They're a 4 seed in Pool B with Northeastern and Weber State. In Pool C, you got Lindenwood and Liberty and Providence, the top 3 seed. And don't discount Army. They knocked out the defending champion UMass. So they're right there as well. And then finally in Pool D, Florida Gulf Coast, St. Thomas, New Hampshire, and MSU Denver. I mean, this is a loaded D2 tournament. The guys that were here before the break, Reagan and Devin, they talked about it. Absolutely loaded bracket and pool play in D2. There could be some 2-1 teams going to the semifinals in that tournament. It's absolutely crazy. So that's in D2. So that all starts on Monday. They go Monday through Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday pool play. Thursday is the semis. Friday is the final there. And that's going to be one heck of a pool. Really looking forward to that as well. Then the women's on the D1 side. Let's bring up that bracket. We talked about it a little bit, and I'm going to see if we can't share that bracket because the women's D1 bracket is going to be loaded as well. I just want to show you that now. They've got a double elimination style for the opening couple of games, but right out of the chute, McKendree is going to play U of M Dearborn. And then you got Maryville and Indiana Tech, and then Michigan and Minot. Michigan's a 9 seed, a dangerous 9 seed. Then you've got Adrian and Arizona State. Now, the losers bracket play will be on day 2. Then you've got day 3 with the winners bracket getting a day off. And then, of course, we talked about the semifinals or the quarterfinalists, the top 2 teams with Midland and Liberty. Liberty looking for their 6th straight national championship in women's D1. But we talked about it, how close those games were last year in Boston. Overtime games. I mean, this is such a tight bracket as well. So many teams, so close. That's what makes this exciting here. And so we're really, again, it's going to be so much fun to bring it to you. Flow TV is where all the games are going to be at. And so, again, just a great bracket is like we show you again the women's bracket at the D1 level. So a great bracket to look at. The men's pool play in D3, I want to get to that as well, as you talk about loaded brackets. And the men's D3, they're going to have a new champion this year at the D3 level for the men, as Michigan, of course, not making the top 16 with the computer rankings. I think they are either 20 or 21. So we're going to have a new tournament. We're going to have a new champion in men's D3. I just want to take a look at the pool play. And again, we talk about some loaded pools. You got Hope, Dartmouth, and Calvin in Pool B. That's going to be, we always talk about the pool of death or the pool of hell. That one could be it right there. But then you look at Pool C. Devin Sarah, one of the broadcasters, brought this up as well. You've got Grand Valley ranked number 1 for most of the year until the end. And you've got Florida Gulf Coast, a perennial power at the D2 and D3 levels. And then Purdue, they've won 11 straight. Can they carry that into the tournament play starting tomorrow? And then Pool D, Missouri Air Force, Central Maine Community College, and Michigan State. That's, again, all 4 of these pools are huge. They're so close. I've seen some of these teams play. You know, Calvin and Hope, they played each other in the regular season. They split. You know, both those teams, obviously, Hope ranked number 2 for most of the year. And that's right where they're at. And Chris Van Timmeren and his squad looking for yet another national championship. It's, you know, the mainstays are there. Then you've got Arkansas in Pool A with Lawrence Tech. Lawrence Tech, the number 1 rated team in Division III. An Arkansas team that's been to the Final Four. They've been to the championship game. You talk about a team that is loaded with experience at this level. It's Arkansas. And then you got 2 teams in that pool that are good, but have yet to taste the national tournament scene. That's Colby and St. Vincent. But that doesn't matter. Once you get here, the jitters will last till you get on the ice. And then, and you play your game. But who knows? But it is such a loaded tournament again this year. Really, really excited to be a part of it. So, and one of the things to keep in mind, we're going to give you nightly updates right here. So make sure you stay tuned to 12 Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network. We're going to give you updates. They're going to be in the morning, but we're going to schedule the times throughout the day to give you updates. And if something late breaking happens, we'll get on here for an extravagant few minutes. We're going to call it the ACHA Nationals Report. Every day you're going to get an update on all the pools and all the brackets, all the scores throughout the weekend. So make sure you stick around for that throughout the whole tournament scene from March 7th through the 17th. And finally, we want to talk about the D2 with the pool play and the schedule there as well. We talked about the top 2 teams. Obviously, they're going to come in as the favorites. That's going to be Assiniboine and Sioux College. But you also have Villanova and Providence looking to make their mark. Dakota College is very good. Adrian, it seems like they're good in just about every division. And then Central Michigan's got a really good team in the pool with Assiniboine. That's going to be a fun one to watch with Assiniboine and Northern Michigan and Boston College all right there. So, wow, their tournament starts on Tuesday and runs through Saturday. Pool play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday. That's going to be where they end up with their tournament as well, with their finals right here at the USA Rink. So, again, a great venue. If you're going to be in the St. Louis area from March 7th to March 17th, I highly recommend you stop out check out a couple of days. Get the all tournament pass. It's well worth it. So many great games. The non-NCAA tournament here has grown so much over the years. It's the 33rd year here with the ACHA National Tournament. Started out with one division. I had a chance to listen to Executive Director Craig Barnett. He was on the NHL Network this morning talking about how they had one division back, right around 1990. It's growing now with the two women's division. We've got 500 teams in all 5 divisions. And it's just, it really has grown. It started out 2017, going to Columbus with all 5 teams going to the national in one location. And it's growing now. Again, we were in Columbus for a couple of years, Dallas in 2019, here in St. Louis in 2022. We did, because of COVID, we went to the separate locations in 21, but we're going to be here in St. Louis for a few years now. We're back. It's a great centrally located spot for everybody in the country, and of course the Canadian teams and the families to come and watch. So again, we talk about it. This is it for a lot of these kids. This is their, for the seniors, for playing for these teams, their last chance at really competitive hockey. And it's such a great alternative for the kids and juniors and whatnot to come and get a college degree and continue their career. And, it's the level of hockey, anybody you talk to, the coaches that have been here a while, and Mike Petrusma at Calvin, Craig Barnett, some of the teams, Dean Stork at Jamestown, when he was on our program a month ago, the level of play has just exponentially grown. And it's a very, very competitive atmosphere at the ACHA level. So, yeah, it's really looking forward to it. It all starts tomorrow. It starts here 10:15 a.m. local time with the D1. Again, the schedule, let's see if we can't give you the schedule real quick. Let's bring it up. The men's D1 and the men's D3 runs the 7th through the 12th. The men's D3 with pool play starting tomorrow, tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. They get a day off. Monday, they have their semifinals. Tuesday, the finals. The men's D1 starts their single elimination tournament tomorrow morning. The top 8 teams get an opening round bye. Then they start play on Friday and Saturday. And then again, it keeps going right through till the semifinals for the men on Monday and the International Championship on Tuesday. And the D2 squad, as we mentioned, the D2 teams start on Monday. They go through Friday with their pool play. Thursdays, their semifinals. Fridays, their finals. And the women's D2, they start on Monday or on Tuesday, running through Saturday with their 3 days of pool play, and then Friday and Saturday. And of course, women's D1, we talked about them with their tournament, their bracket. It starts out with 4 huge games, and then they have a double elimination style for the first 3 days until the quarterfinals, and then the semis are on Saturday, and then they wrap up the whole tournament on Sunday afternoon right here at the USA rink at the Centene Ice Center. So again, really excited to be a part of it here. I know I'm going to have to kind of tone my voice down with 40 games to call over the next 11 days, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So I want to take this time to thank Jeff Beck and the boys for making it possible to have us here on the ACHA Power Play here on 12 Ounce Sports, back to finish what we started, as we mentioned. And it's always great to be able to be live here on location to things like this, and we're going to continue to grow. And I want to thank Jeff and everybody at 12 Ounce Sports for being a part of it. We got a lot of live programming on the network, with the daily live, the lacrosse show every Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock with Mike Caravellis. And we've got Pistol Pete, Philly Pete with Primetime Live Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And of course, Jeff with Just What Happened on Thursday night. So, and a lot, we've got some talk about lacrosse. We've got the NCAA D3 lacrosse action with Washington and Lee. And we've got more teams coming up. We got a lot going on here, including the ACHA Power Play. All right. Want to wrap it up tonight. Again, the national tournament starting tomorrow. I want to take this moment to, we had one of our own here on our broadcast team that was big on the Division II men's side. Brett Luthner passed away over the holidays, right towards the end of the year. He was a mainstay here with the D2 broadcast. And that was his blood, man. He loved it. Of course, he used to be on the D2 preview shows we used to do on YouTube back in the day with Sean Broderick and, of course, John Peterson, one of his sidekicks. I know I'm missing a few people, but Brett was a Class A broadcaster, world class. But more importantly, he was a world class father and a world class friend. You know, him and I used to talk a lot of hockey together, a lot of pro wrestling. And brother, it's not going to be the same without you with us here. But we're going to try to do our best to maintain your level of excellence. But I know you're up there watching us, and you'll be watching. And so again, our thoughts and prayers, of course, with your family and everything. And we're going to be thinking about you here at the national tournament, especially when the D2 on the men's side starts on Monday. So, all right, that's going to do it here. Again, live from the Centene Ice Center, the USA rink, with our tournament, our preview show for the ACHA Power Play. It all starts tomorrow, runs through March 17th. Flow Hockey TV, that's where you can watch all the games live and, of course, all the replays. And you'll get to hear the voice of yours truly, amongst others. So excited to bring you all the games. And again, join us on 12-Ounce Sports daily. We'll have updates on all the brackets with our ACHA Nationals report every day throughout the tournament. Make sure you stick around for that, as we will bring you those all live here on 12-Ounce Sports with all of our updates every day. All right. This reminder, we want to thank Devin and Reagan again for jumping on earlier today. And again, we want to thank you, the viewer, for taking time out to watch us here on 12-Ounce Sports and the ACHA Power Play. Captain Lou saying, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. Until next time, thanks for joining us here live from the Centene Ice Center, the USA rink, with another edition of the ACHA Power Play right here on 12-Ounce Sports and the Captain Lou Sports Network. Until next time, so long, everybody.